Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. Today I'd like to tell you all about how to get the Elegy armor set, or the armor set that was recently added with Living World Season 4, Episode 4. To even get started on this armor set, you're first going to need to, of course, have access to the Living World Season 4, Episode 4, and you'll need to complete that story. No spoilers here, but at the end of the story, you will end up back in Sun's Refuge, and when you do finally complete that last story step, you'll need to leave Sun's Refuge and then enter it again in order to get started. For a later portion of this guide, you will need several crafting materials in your inventory in order to continue, so go ahead and grab 40 orichalcum ingots, 40 cured hard leather squares, 40 bolts of gossamer, and 20 ancient wood planks. Additionally, if you happen to have completed even the beginning portion of the Griffin quest, you will have access to an item called Spear Marshal's Plea. This is something you can acquire without ever having to spend the 250 gold on a Griffin, and while its original purpose was just to teleport you back to the Griffin Sanctuary, as of this patch you can now also use this same item to teleport you back to Sun's Refuge at any time for free. You'll be traveling across Jahai Bluffs quite a bit, and you should make sure that at the very least you have all the waypoints to make this as simple as possible. So after completing that final story step, make sure you leave Sun's Refuge and then re-enter. Upon re-entering, you should head over to the northwesternmost corner of the bottom half of Sun's Refuge. Here you're looking for an NPC named Amira, and you'll need to talk to her before we can continue. After speaking with Amira, you can head just outside of Sun's Refuge, make your way towards the water's edge, or at least the small cliff, and you should see a ruined memorial. Interacting with this memorial is our next step, and shortly after that, you'll see a new NPC has appeared right next to that memorial. And for the next portion of this, we'll need to have a short conversation with this new NPC named Eladar. Once your conversation is over, feel free to head back to Sun's Refuge and speak with Amira one more time. After your conversation with Amira, you can head to the northeasternmost waypoint, or the Reclaimed Chantry waypoint. From the waypoint, just make your way east following the road. Once you end up reaching some water, just continue in a straight line from the way that road was headed, and eventually you'll reach a stretch of coast that wraps up into the top northeast corner of the explorable map. Here you'll find a pair of NPCs standing in an encampment, and we'll need to talk to both of them before we can move forward. First, you'll need to speak with Second Spear Raid, and after that conversation is over, you'll find another Sun Spear directly behind him that we'll need to talk to once more. Once you've talked to both of the Sun Spears, you can head over to the Venta Pass waypoint, or the waypoint just outside of Sun's Refuge. From the waypoint, make your way towards the Vista to the north of that waypoint. The Vista itself is going to be on top of some buildings that are on a higher elevation, so make sure you have your Springer mount to jump up there. And on the ground next to one of the houses on the upper level, you should find a small child's toy. Once you grab the toy, you can head to the lower level of this same area, and you'll see that there are some more houses. Inside one of the houses, almost directly beneath where you found the toy, you should find your next item, or a portrait of a wife. Now that you've picked up your two items, we can head back to Eladar, but instead of the original location, it's a little bit different than it once was. Just like before, head over to the ruined memorial just outside of Sun's Refuge. You'll notice that Eladar is no longer located here, so continue across the small body of water until you hit a tree line. Here you should see Eladar's new location. Here again, we just need to have a short conversation, and once that conversation is over, we can head back to Sun's Refuge, and again, we'll be speaking with Amira. This time, after the conversation, be sure to speak with her again, and this is where you're going to want to have those crafting materials I mentioned earlier in your inventory. This because now when you speak with Amira, she'll offer you some memorials in exchange for a few crafting materials. So to get started, just spend 20 orichalcum ingots to get one ancient memorial. If you open up your inventory and double click on the ancient memorial, it'll actually show you right on the map where you need to head, and what you're looking for are some more ruined memorials that we can then use these new items to restore. Now, since the ancient memorials themselves will just show you on the map where you need to go, I won't be covering that part. There are 7 of these locations in total, and they'll be all over Jahai Bluffs, which is why I recommended having at least all of the waypoints on this map. Additionally, you won't be able to buy all the ancient memorials at once. Rather, you'll be purchasing one, going out into the map, placing it, and then coming back to buy the next one. It's because of this that I recommend, if you're going to have those crafting materials in your inventory, that you're mindful that you don't deposit your crafting materials, otherwise you'll have to head back to grab them. After successfully purchasing and placing all 7 of the ancient memorials, you need to head to Soul's Vendetta waypoint. From the waypoint, just head north out of the encampment and follow the road until you see Eladar once more. Once again, she's in a new location, and now we'll have to talk to her once more to continue. After this conversation, you can head back to the very first ruined plaque just outside of Sun's Refuge. As you approach this time, you should see both Amira and Eladar, and all you'll need to do is participate in a conversation between you and them, and once that conversation is over, talk once more to Amira. This final conversation with Amira will unlock 1 full set of Elegy armor of your choosing, this being light, medium, or heavy armor. And if you want to unlock all 3 for your account, you'll also get a crafting recipe that'll allow you to do just that. The recipe is pretty standard in terms of exotic gear, so you'll need your regular exotic components, but you'll also need an intact mosaic to complete each piece. Intact mosaics can be purchased off the trading post or are a reward for completing meta events or sometimes legendary bounties in the Path of Fire expansion. And that, guys, is basically it, because of course you now have the Elegy armor set, but this is actually only the first part if you want to get the Requiem armor set, which is essentially the same skin, only with a little bit more bling or glow to it. So if you guys are interested in that sort of thing, be sure to look out for the next video. The only advice I would give you in preparation for that video is to make sure you farm all the Mistonium or the new map currency that you can. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.